Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. Day 10 will take us to the 30th of March. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. They run around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, it gets us into the middle of April. I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just say that first, video saves our 6 AM UK weather forecast. Like, share and subscribe on both of today's bids. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. We've just hit 19.6k. What are you doing, Gav? 19.6k. So we're pushing on now, hopefully, to 19.7k. So please give us a sub. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. I hope you're having a lovely Thursday. What glorious day it is here in Northants at the Towers. Blimey, love it. Feels like an early June day. Hope you're enjoying it. It's got sunshine, everyone. Right, let's have a look at temperature at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over the North Pole. So another warming has occurred in the past couple of days. We see there from the black line from the JMA going up to about minus 15 at 10 HPA over the Arctic and the North Pole. That happened yesterday, I think. Well, no, that happened like the day before yesterday, but it updates yesterday. So yesterday itself, it actually came down to about minus 22. We peaked, I think, with the strat warming now over the North Pole at 10 HPA. However, at 30 HPA, temperatures are still rising, and we are now back to where we was, or maybe ever so slightly above where we was last week. So again, we have the first SSW last week. We came down over the weekend into the beginning of this week, and then we lifted it up again through the middle part of this week too. So major developments in the stratosphere ongoing and continuing. SSW number 2, I suppose, has happened, and we're still waiting to see whether we get a tropospheric response. This is how temperatures are currently looking at 10 HPA over the Arctic and North Pole. So, of course, we're bringing the temperature down now. We can't sustain those very warm temperatures indefinitely. We will see the temperature coming down, but staying above average. There's no sign, really, of a stratospheric polar vortex coming back. We do get some cooling air in the North Atlantic to the south of Greenland later next week, but nowhere near the pole, really. And actually, a renewed warming next week focused on Scandinavia this time, which is a slightly unusual place to see that. And just generally keeping the temperature above average. As I say, it's no sign of the SPV coming back in the stratosphere, so it looks like the stratospheric polar vortex, until the 5th of April anyway, is more or less done for. And if you have a look at the zone of wind, that's how the zone of wind is looking as well. So this is from Weather is Cool, of course. The blue line shows where been with the zone of wind and where we currently are, and the green lines of GFS ensembles. So you can see that the zone of wind went into reverse, of course, with the first SSW last week, and we dropped out there at minus 20 ms. We almost went positive over the weekend, last weekend, and into the beginning of this week with the wind, not quite though, it stayed in reverse overall. And now we're back down here again at minus 20 ms, so dropped out once more. GFS ensembles has shown that zone of wind is going to try to recover, but won't go positive. And then at the end of March, actually the zone of wind drops again, and may go even lower than it's been so far into early April, trying to rebound, but still staying in reverse. It doesn't look like, by up to the beginning of April anyway, early April, it doesn't look like the zone of wind is going to go back into positive territory. So reversal as zone of wind continues, and growing evidence, I think, that this could well be the final warming of the stratosphere and the final reversal of zone of winds for this season, which is very early, but does occasionally happen. We shall keep you updated. And now we look more and more, as we go to the end of March, beginning of April, see if we get a tropospheric response to all of these dramatic stratospheric developments. We'll keep you updated. Right, latest info from that from earth.net shows a reason. It's pretty warm today. We've got high pressure away to the east, low pressure is in the Atlantic, and check this out, we're drawing wind up from the Mediterranean. Much warmer air wafting up western side of Europe, and of course, yeah, it's coming in off the continent as well, so we've broken up a lot of the cloud that we had a couple of days ago. Warm, dry and sunny in most areas. However, in the west, we're close to these areas of low pressure, and so we do have a little bit of cloud, unfortunately, through there. Central temperature is currently sitting at 6.6, that's 0.9 of a degree above 61 to 99 average. It's provisional to yesterday to the 19th of March, and I reckon that's going to start coming up actually now over the next few days in response to this warm and sunny, balmy weather. Right, so this is how the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking for the next couple of weeks. We're at Swansea today over in Wales. Hello to all of our Welsh viewers. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Swansea. We're starting off above average with the upper air temperatures at the moment. Of course, we see them gradually coming down through the weekend, and into next week could go a little bit cooler. Although not much evidence that it's going to go cold, possibly a bit of a cold snap could be opening up through there around the turn of the month. But overall, I would say cooler after, a warm start. Precipitation-wise, also a bit more unsettled as well today on the grass. So a couple of days of relatively dry weather to come. But turning more unsettled certainly by the weekend. Into the middle of next week, a bit drier, and then unsettled again into the last days of March and the beginning of April. We could be in for rather unsettled into March, as we said in yesterday's 10 to 14 dayer. Temperature anomaly! So the next 5 days, taking us up to the 25th of March, and coming out quite substantially above average. On the temperature scale, it looks like we're talking about 4 degrees or so above average. That's pretty warm, isn't it? 6 to 10 day temperature anomaly is nearer normal, above average perhaps to the north, nearer normal further south. And the 10 to 14 day temperature anomaly, again, near normal, but possibly going a bit colder than average, more southern areas. And France, Spain, Portugal also looking a bit cold average in the extended with today's GEFS. So there is a definite cooling trend there over the next couple of weeks after a warm start. Precipitation anomalies the next 7 days are average to a little bit drier than normal. The 4 to 10 day precipitation anomaly looks like that. Again, average a bit drier, but average especially so up in the north. And the 8 to 14 day precipitation anomaly is about average, really, more southern and eastern regions, but drier than average in the west. That could be telling us that there is a change, something a bit more unsettled in the extended within the GFS today. Well, let's start going through chart data. This is how the latest UK Met Euro is looking for midnight on Sunday. Low pressure slipping away to south, a ridge building out to the northwest. Also rather cool and showery, or cooler and showery. By Sunday, early next week, we find a nice little ridge building as low pressure clears away to the south and east. So it's going to be drier again through next week. I think it could be a bit chilly under that ridge of high pressure, possibly with a return of ground frost, but not too bad, not unsettled anyway, with the UK Met through next week. Actually, we've got an anticyclonic influence with that to What about Icon? Well, again, we get rid of that low pressure to the south of the east over the weekend. Into next week, heights rise. Western Europe. So Icon switching to a higher pressure. I noticed somebody in the comments, I think it was yesterday, it might have been the day before, I think it was yesterday, someone in the comments was saying that lower pressure, unsettled spells are being watered down at the moment. So the models will kind of latch onto an unsettled spell, like a week out or something. I mean, it gets a bit closer to the time frame, and instead of turning unsettled, we get a ridge of high pressure. It actually stays relatively settled. And I would agree with that. That's definitely something that has been of note through this winter, that the unsettled, wet, windy, stormy spells have tended to be downgraded quite a lot, and high pressure has never been too far away, and that trend is continuing into the spring. Now, this is quite interesting, of course, because if we get this trend continue into the summer, then with a lot of high pressure, we could be thinking about a dry summer, maybe a warm or even a hot summer. It's very early days on that, though. We could get a flip to a properly unsettled pattern at any time. I can remember, for example, 2007, which had a lot of high pressure and dry and warm weather in March and April, and then it flipped in May. So you never know. But I do agree, whoever that was, I can't remember the name of the person who commented, but I saw it, and I do agree, you know, that it has definitely been a trend through this winter and is ongoing into the spring, that unsettled spells are tending to be toned down when we get closer to the time frame with the models at the moment. Like yesterday, all the models were going for an unsettled spell next week. Now it looks like the UK Met and Icon, at least, we'll go through the other models in a moment, are shifting back to higher pressure again for next week. It's interesting and of note, nothing more than that at the moment. If it carries on into summer, then it starts getting very interesting. Thank you to that person who commented. Let me know what you think about this, everyone, in the comments. Right, I'm off on a tangent. So sorry, everyone. KMA, let's get back on track. KMA, again, with high pressure ridging through the west of Europe into the middle part of next week. Gradually became a diminishing high pressure though. By the end of next week, we start turning unsettled. So pushy switch to properly unsettled conditions back like to the end of next week, really, but does eventually get there. Then heights build over Scandinavia, and by the time we get through to the 1st of April, sorry to get to with the KMA, I've got a bit of a hint of some blocking there to the north, and probably turning a bit colder as well. So that could be quite a cold start to April with the KMA. GFS midnight run, all much of a muchness for Sunday and Monday. Low pressure slipping away to south, a ridge building in from the Atlantic, turning mostly dry for the open of next week. But as early as Thursday, the GFS midnight run is bringing low pressure back. So the GFS is still unsettled through the middle to second half of next week. Actually turns very unsettled, look at that, by next weekend. Saturday, 29th of March, and deep low pressure sweeping in from off the Atlantic, bringing, you know, properly wet and windy weather in with it. And the low pressure just keep on coming then into the beginning of April, so staying unsettled and cool right the way into the start of April there with the GFS midnight. Remember, UK Met, Icon nowhere near as unsettled as that for the second half of next week. But GFS 6Z, in comparison, has high pressure taking over through the early part of next week, bringing dry conditions for a couple of days, Tuesday, Wednesday. But again, the GFS 6Z also bringing low pressure into the second half next week, looking really unsettled, quite cool as well. On the cool side of jet stream, and black line is the rough position of the jet stream, so we're on the cool side about raising the heights a bit up towards Greenland and ice as well. So cool, wet through the second half next week and into the last weekend of March, also looking unsettled with low pressure gradually slipping to the southeast, high pressure building out to the northwest, and winds going into a cooler or a colder, perhaps even northeasterly. In the very extended range at the start of April, keeping it unsettled, really low pressure remaining in control, bringing further showering conditions, maybe long spells of rain, and staying cool as well. The jet stream is down into southern France and northern Spain, so on the cold side of the jet stream there, and so yes, an unsettled and wet and cool start to April seems likely. If you're enjoying the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much everyone for doing that. And why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. Don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe too. So everyone, but do that. And if you could give us a little donation for our PayPal page, that'd be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Get a shout out in the vids if you want one. Link to our PayPal page is in the description with the video. It's just down there. If you go down there, it's down there. Thanks so much, everyone. Right, GM. Again, we've got low pressure moving away to the south of the Inks through the weekend. Next week, we raise the heights, or we try to, from the southwest to the middle part of the week, and then low pressure back in later next week and into the last weekend of March, looking increasingly cool and unsettled, maybe quite cold actually by day 10. We've got a ridge of the Atlantic going towards Greenland, low pressure shifting southwards, and winds are pulling in to an east or a northeasterly direction. I mean, cold is comparative. It's the 30th of March, not the 30th of January or 30th of December, so it probably is going to be quite cold, but it won't be as cold as if it was depths of winter, you know. But to average, that's probably quite chilly and also pretty wet. So it's a real mixed bag with the models today, isn't it? Very, very, very uncertain picture again. Then the ECM looks like this. Finally, low pressure slipping away to the south on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, raising heights, bringing quite a bit of dry weather through to the middle part of next week. High pressure stays in control, really, with the ECM through to the end of next week. Low pressure just getting into the north, and then into the last weekend of March. That's when the ECM starts to change, something cooler and more unsettled as well. Wind swinging to the north, to the northwest. Low pressure moving away to the east. That looks rather cool and wet there by day 10. So the ECM is kind of in between, you know, it does turn unsettled, but it takes until next weekend to get there. And then very quickly, back into high pressure again, though. By the 1st of April, we've got a nice ridge building from the Atlantic up to Scandinavia. We'll be chilly with that, winter coming in, the air coming in from the northeast, so will be quite cool. But the unsettled spell doesn't last very long, so into early April it turns drier, but will probably be quite chilly. This is a precipitation forecast based on the ECM from Tropospheric, so shower becoming increasingly widespread in the west tomorrow. And then into the weekend, those heavy showers, maybe longer spells of rain, actually push northwards across the country. So could be quite wet Saturday, Friday into Saturday. And then showers and longer spells of rain ongoing into the beginning of next week before they finally move away. A ridge building from the Atlantic, bringing plenty of dry weather, especially to the south, but the northwest looks a little bit showery. By day 10, it's turning a bit colder, so showers could be turning wintering in the north and in the west. These are options on the table. Then the ECM ensembles today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office gets us to the 30th of March. 26 members of the ECM ensembles with a ridge in the Atlantic going towards Greenland. Trough to our south, and winds are coming in from like an easterly or a northeasterly direction. That looks unsettled, most unsettled in the south. We've got 25 as well, including control and the operation run with low pressure right over top of the country and a ridge going up towards Greenland. That also looking cool and unsettled. Both of those, we've got 26 versus 25, but both of the options are very similar, really, just subtly different in the placement of the troughs and the ridges. But basically, they're all much of a muchness, and it looks quite cool, maybe quite wet actually. So it looks like quite cool and wet, but you know, as we get to the end of March. And then we get to 2 weeks out, which gets us to the 4th of April. 29 members of the ECM ensembles then, with high pressure around Iceland. Winds are going into the east, low pressure over France. So looking dry but quite chilly with that. 12 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure through the west of Europe. Again, going to be quite a bit of dry weather with that. Not as cool with those those scenarios, clusters as this one. And then we've got 10 with high pressure, strong high pressure blocking between Greenland and Norway, and bringing the wind then from the east. Low pressure is to the south and to the southwest. It looks to me like we're going to have a easterly start to April with some blocking, but so that might be a tropospheric response to a Strat 1, or as April is a month but does tend to see quite like the easy winds, it might not be. There's no way of knowing, really, unless it starts getting, cold with the air coming down from forward. And then I think we would be able to say we've got a tropospheric response to the Strat 1. Okay, well, CFS finally, and then we'll get it wrapped up. So these are 500 millibar height and knowledge, breaking down into weekly periods. The first week period takes us from the 20th to the 26th of March. The next week with high pressure in the Atlantic, ridging through the west and the north of Europe, low pressure down towards Spain. So a lot of dry weather to come. Week 2 will be the 27th of March to the 2nd of April. High pressures in the Atlantic. Low pressures to the south. Going to be relatively dry, but could be a bit chilly with that. Winds coming in from a bit of a northwesterly direction. Week 3 will be the 3rd to the 9th of April. A Scandinavian high and a cut-off low to the southwest. That's probably bringing up a relatively mild southeasterly type flow, and there's a bit of a battle that's going on there. And then week 4 rounded off. It's the 10th to the 16th of April. Today we've got high pressure around Scandinavia, so again mostly dry. We could be bringing in a chilly easterly wind, could have a southeasterly, which is going to be quite warm in April, so that remains to be seen, but certainly looks like excuse me, so it looks like overall we've got plenty of high pressure to come over the next 4 weeks. So we're not going to be too far away from drier conditions, if that's right. But we shall see, and time, as ever, will tell. Right, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you everyone for doing that. And why don't drop a comment? Let's know think about this and all of our videos and content. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe too. Make sure you everyone for doing that. Around 97 subscribers. We'll get 19.7k. So much, everyone. And oh, by the way, and don't forget, you can afford to do so. Give a little donation to GavsWeatherVids to help fund the channel. Little fundraiser for GavsWeatherVids. Right, well, thank you so much, everyone. You enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Tomorrow, by the way, you have 6 AM UK weather forecast. We're going to have January Friday at 10 to 14 k as well. You enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon / evening / night / whenever you're watching the video. Get out and enjoy the sunshine if you've got it, and you know, the lovely warm feel. And we'll see you tomorrow with more. For this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.